So there is the recipe for my favourite risotto. And there's some pictures of it. It's really, really lovely, and it's actually quite easy to make. So there are the ingredients arranged on my board. You've already seen the recipe, so that's just a nice little artistic shot. And those are the mushrooms that are soaking. This is soaking the mushrooms. These are actually hand-foraged wild mushrooms from Poland. My partner's family got for me. But you can go in the supermarket and you can buy the porcinis. I recommend those, they are absolutely delicious. What I also recommend is doing this. This was boiling water I used. Several hours before you're going to use it. Really have time to let them steep in that water, and also let the bits of grit that are on there fall to the bottom. Alright, so that's done a few hours ahead. Here we go. My first step is I've sliced up these lovely portobello mushrooms, and I'm going to saute them or sweat them until they release their water, and well, you'll see when we skip forwards how I want them to look. Seasoning early on is a good idea. What it does, it will help to draw out some of the water that you, so it will speed up that cooking process. I recommend that. That is just a couple of minutes later. Dramatically looking different, much smaller. The flavour will be concentrated, and don't worry, all bits of flavour that it might be missing in the pan is all going to get used up, because we're going to cook everything in this one pan. Very simple. I'm not going to wash it or anything. Okay. Bit more olive oil now. So the shallots, garlic and celery I've chopped into what they might call in the restaurant trade a chiffonade, a brunoise, which basically just means really fine diced. So just really finely dice it up. What I also did, I peeled off the outside of the celery. That's me being pedantic. I prefer to do that because I think it can be stringy. Anyway, those have had a minute or so to soften. In goes the rice. This actually was, I can't remember, it was a cannoli rice, but an arborio or cannoli, whatever, a risotto rice will do the trick. What I'm doing here is I'm roughing up the outside edges of the rice because it's very smooth. I want it to get rough because then it's going to absorb liquid much more effectively and efficiently. So that's quite crucial. What you just saw me throw in there was the mushrooms that have been soaking, the previously dried mushrooms. I just basically chopped them up nice and small. Give them a second, and then that was white wine. This bit's crucial now. You have to let that white wine evaporate all the way so the pan is effectively dry or just moist until you start adding stock. That way you know you've got no alcohol left in there and it won't taste raw. So I'm using a bit of editing here to speed this process up. Cooking a risotto, you're talking around about, once you start adding liquid, about 20 minutes. I used a fine mess sieve there, just in case there's any bits of grit. What you can do if you want to make absolutely sure is pour the whole thing through a coffee filter. That will definitely get rid of it. Now, the other thing is what you do is never put it all in one go. I'm going to add liquid in about 3 or 4 goes. That way you give it a chance. You're stirring frequently. You can stir constantly if you like, but as long as you're stirring it every minute or so, you give it a little turn around. You see the mushrooms went back in there at this stage. And if you're thinking you don't like the colour, then you don't like mushroom risotto, because that is what we're after, this sort of muddy grey brown colour. That's a natural colour, and that is the way it should be. So, a bit of editing doing here just to speed this process up. You can see now how when I move the risotto around, the pan is dry. Time for some more stock. Now the recipe I had there was fairly accurate. I found at the end of this I needed to add just a little bit more liquid. It's up to you. You do it, you taste it. In a minute you'll see me get a spoon in there and I'm going to be tasting the rice. When a risotto rice is cooked, you don't want it completely mushy like a porridge. You still want the rice to hold its form, but you want it to be sort of just on the point of breaking up, I guess. That 20-minute guideline is a pretty good guideline to use. That should be about right, but as I say, all sorts of variations, how high you've got your heat, will make a difference. It's a bit like when you cook pasta. It says 8 minutes on the packet, but after 7 minutes you have a little bite and you go, oh, do you know what, it tastes nice. So sometimes it's ready when you say it's ready. You've got to use your, trust your instincts there a little bit. So this isn't quite ready yet, so I'm going to just keep stirring. And in a minute I think I'm going to need to add in a little bit more liquid, but I'd used as much of the stock as I dared to, because obviously at the very bottom bit I didn't because of the sediment. So I just add a bit of tap water into it. It's okay, you know. So much flavour's gone in there already. So you see the liquid level, that's how you want it, looking like that. But if it's not quite ready, you need a little bit more liquid and a little bit more stirring over heat. And the whole time I'm doing this, I've got it on a sort of fairly low to medium heat. You don't want to risk it burning on the bottom. So that would have been about, what, 50 millilitres? Not sure what you'd call that in pints or fluid ounces. It wasn't very much, a couple of tablespoons maybe. And then a minute or so later, I decided we're ready to go. Let's make it better, baby. Okay, so I added 75 grams of butter. Most recipes you might look up for this amount might say a lot less than that, but you know, this is me. And if you want it more betterer, put more butter in it. And those purists from the, you know, the southern Italians will go, what do? You don't want to put a butter. Yeah, you do. It's better. The northern Italians, they use it. They know what's going on. Anyway, I like a little bit of parsley at the end because it just adds a little colour dimension. Of course, Parmesan cheese. On the recipe I gave you there, feel free to use much more Parmesan if you like. And actually you could put all of it in at this stage as well. I reserved a little bit for garnish, because, you know, chef and all that sort of stuff. It does look quite nice, a bit scattered on the top. Incorporate that all in. You're going to have to taste this again now for seasoning. I think it's always good to be careful with the seasoning on a risotto, because the stock and the butter and the Parmesan may add salt levels to it. So now I'm adding a little bit more salt. And of course, tons of that freshly ground black pepper, and then a bit more, and then a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Love black pepper. And that is how it should look. Not as stodgy as a porridge, but just holding its form. But not like they do in a lot of French restaurants where I learnt initially to make risotto badly. Really firm because they want to use it as a garnish for a dish. Now the risotto is the dish. Get that in your head. So many restaurants try to use it as a garnish and they put like a really firm bit and they can sit a nice little bit of pan-fried fish on top of it. Stop it, French chefs. Anyway, this is where I wish I'd just finely grated all the parmesan rather than doing these posh little slices, because they looked wrong actually. And that there is a little extra luxurious ingredient, some truffle oil that I have knocking around in my cupboard. Don't leave it too long, it does lose its flavour, but it is rather nice. And there we go. See what I mean about the parmesan? I should have just grated it. Sometimes you try to be a bit fancy for a video and you regret it. Chives would also be very nice on this if you don't fancy the parsley. And there you go, my favourite risotto. I will make other risottos in the future, but that is the king. Anyway, if you have a go, let me know how you get on. Obviously I'm sure you made it before. Let me know if you prefer a different technique. We can have a little chat in the comments, can't we? Don't forget to like, and if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, what's wrong with you? Subscribe! Come on! Anyway, I will see you in the next video coming really soon. Thanks again. Bye!